Yes. All right, Jackson and I have to carry over an off-air discussion on the air. I hope you don't mind. Our prep time for this program may surprise you, but it's nil. In part because we just got done hosting another show on HD2, humble brag, and now we are hosting a show on HD1, and this is where the lights shine bright on Broadway. This is our chance. Great moments are born from great opportunity. And that's what you have here tonight, boys. That's what you've earned here tonight. So my question to Jackson off air was the following. How strongly do you feel about your Little Piddles, whatever it's called? What is it called today?
The Little Piddles, how do you do?
Now, to me, the name change screams, "Oh God, I've got nothing." So I'm gonna attempt to cover that up. I'm gonna cover the body up with leaves and brush. That's what the name is. Because to me, it's a half and half, or the Tuesday turbulence. But it's been changed to "How do you do?" and that gives me concern.
And I can understand that totally, but my counterpoint to that is, the volume of questions I have is more than I think I've ever had.
Really? How many questions you have, bro?
11.
Oh, my. Now, you have prided yourself on the fact that you'll have 6 questions every day for the Little Piddles halves and halves and sports business newsletters, the weekend wrap-up, and the Friday six-shooter, and that I never get through them all. Mm-hmm. So when you ask 11, that screams there isn't a lot of depth. And therefore, we gotta pepper the ballpark.
Sure, and I would say that is accurate. Mm-hmm. I'm not totally confident 100% in any of them that they're going to lead to a great discussion. But I think when those situations arise, when you don't think you have your best stuff, the best way to kind of bolster yourself is to put the effort in and to bring a lot of volume in.
Quinn Snyder press conference.
So even if the content of all of them isn't great, at least you're putting the effort in to get as much as you can, to at least up the odds. Because there's been questions I've had that I think are bad that you've made good. So you just gotta shoot to score, and I'm playing a numbers game here.
Okay. So I'm going to get up on my step stool so I can see over the line of scrimmage. I'm going to call an audible.
Cool.
Oh, you don't like it?
Well, I'm fine. I was saying that, you know me, I don't mess around like that. If I say something, I mean it.
All right. It's good. Because, you and I have a podcast at 11:15, non-sports related.
Can't wait.
YouTube.com/TMASTL. Come on in, the water is warm. That's at 11:15, the Tim McKernan Show. Any question is welcome, non-sports related, preferably. I pose this question at the end of every year, and tomorrow is my last show in 2023, TMA and Balloon Party. And in a way, I didn't do it on TMA this morning because I kind of wanted to see where the people on 101 ESPN were first. And the questions I have posed dating back to 2010, when, if memory serves, Sam Bradford was the Inside STL Sportsperson of the Year. Sam Bradford, we're going back that far.
Yeah.
Some years it's easy. 2011. Who's our sports person of the year?
Iceman David Freese.
Nice. Iceman King Parsons, Iceman David Freese. Nice. What was the best moment of the 2011 St. Louis sports year? St. Louis sports year, for the purpose of the conversation, extending as far west as Columbia, Missouri, as far east as Champaign, Illinois.
Would it have been the triple or have been the walk-off home run?
God, look at you, and you were only 13. You were only 13.
You can make a case for both.
What do you think David Freese's answer is?
Probably the triple.
David Freese's answer is the triple.
Yeah, I would think.
And it is my answer as well.
Yeah.
I think the voters went with the home run.
I think you could maybe even put Berkman's double ahead of the home run because he was down to his last strike as well. It's not as famous, but
I agree with you. It's not as famous. You can make a case.
Yeah.
Point being, you had at least 3 great ones, and we haven't even gone into the 2011 Rams, which were unbelievable.
They beat the Saints on the same day as the Cardinals World Series parade. I remember that being a great day.
Look at that. And then the worst sports moment in 2011 was what?
Oh, man.
When I tell you, you will agree, but then you will see where I'm coming from, because I'm about to ask the people in the YouTube chat and in the Air Comfort Service text inbox to give their 2023 best St. Louis sports moment, 2023 worst St. Louis sports moment, and 2023 St. Louis sports person of the year. And again, we go as far west as Columbia, Missouri, as far east as Champaign, Illinois, which sometimes upsets people. I'm just telling you what the parameters are. You can be upset by it. It's fine. If you use me as an outlet for your anger, I welcome it. I enjoy it. I am fueled by your hatred. The worst sports moment in 2011 was what?
Mike Anderson leaving his post in Missouri.
Sweet mother of Yahweh. The worst sports moment, the lowest you felt in 2011. When I tell you, you will agree with me.
Did they lose to Seattle on the road?
Oh, for F's sake. Almost the first time in my career I used the F word. I had to catch myself. 25 years of doing it, never done it. Somehow, I have no idea. Podcast at 11:15, I'll do it immediately.
Yeah.
The answer is 20 minutes after David Freese's triple, Josh Hamilton hits a home run.
Oh, okay.
That was the worst moment. So now you see my literal interpretation of moment. A moment is a second. What was your highest high in 2011? I think it was the David Freese triple.
Yeah.
But it could have been the David Freese home run. Maybe you're making the case for the Lance Berkman base hit. Off of Scott Feldman. You're exactly right.
Yeah.
The lowest moment was the lowest you felt. Now, maybe for you, it was Mike Anderson.
That was pretty low. It led to some greatness, though.
But for the majority of the people, you go from the high of the Freese triple to, oh, my God, the Rangers are still going to win this. And the David Freese triple will now be like the Albert Pujols Brad Lidge home run. It was fun, but it didn't lead to a championship.
Yeah.
So, therefore, that's my term. Now, when we have this conversation, Jackson, what winds up happening, and that's fine. You know what? People can interpret how they want to interpret. I call it a moment because I mean a moment. They'll go with like a game.
Yeah, right.
Or a season. And they vote how you want because we're not giving out like $1 million prizes. Could we? Of course we could. I am very wealthy. But we're not today. Not today. Maybe tomorrow. For my last show, 2023, I'm going to give away millions of dollars.
There you go.
But not today. And then the St. Louis Sports Person of the Year. Now, I say all of this, and I say this to the wonderful people and the listeners of this show who I'm asking to vote. Cast your votes. Best sports moment, St. Louis sports moment 2023. Worst St. Louis sports moment, and sports person of the year, because I went on the TMA fan page last night on Facebook. You all ought to join it. It's wonderful. Jackson, you and I are the moderators, and it's a great time.
Moderators to the stars.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's a private group, but like there's 7,100 members.
Yep.
And 20 who post. And I posed the question last night. Best sports moment 2023, worst sports moment 2023, sports person of the year. A little different than 2011, in which you just go, oh, well, let's just take care. Well, game 6 will give us all our answers. 2023, rough year for the Blues, rough year for the Cardinals. And what direction are we going to go? And I noticed a split. And I mean right down the middle, the split. I will tell you what the split is on the other side of the break.
Can't teach that.
You just watched it.
Can't teach it.
You
though.
just watched Jordan against the Lakers switch hands.
Yeah.
And you go, oh, it was Larry Bird and Magic Johnson's game. It isn't anymore. That's what that tease just told the audience.
That's right. That's radio game. It ain't anyone else's.
I'm telling you, it's a split right down the middle. And I'm curious. I think I know where this audience is going to go, but I will lay that out for you. And I really do. In the YouTube chat and on the text, I want to see what people's answers are. But there was clear split down the middle on what seemed to be the two choices. That's coming your way next year on Balloon Party, driven by Mug and S. Burkhardt, Alton Toyota on 101 ESPN. Welcome back, Jackson. We don't have time to waste with your nonsense about the Lakers hoisting a banner last night for the in-season tournament. Maybe when I'm off on Thursday and Friday, you and Josh Ennis can talk about that. But I will be in my slumber.
Actually, we do talk about that.
You're going to talk. You and Josh have said, "Hey, Josh, here's the deal. When you fill in, we're going to talk about NBA in-season tournament banners."
If he wants to, I got takes.
Right. I think he might swat that away.
Well.
But you know what? That's up to you guys. I'll be in my chambers, snug as a bug in a rug. That's what I'll be, snug as a bug in a rug. So when I posed the question last night on the TMA fan page on Facebook, which you all should join and enjoy, of best St. Louis sports moment 2023, worst St. Louis sports moment 2023, and St. Louis sports person of the year, in my mind, because I am in the literal interpretation of moment, second, the high of your dopamine and the low, a moment, not a game, not a season. That's my literal interpretation. It depends on how one interprets. That's where I am. The best moment of the St. Louis sports year, St. Louis extending as far west as Columbia, as far east as Champaign, Illinois, for the purpose of the sports discussion, Harrison Mevis's game-winning field goal. Do you agree with me?
We're on the same page on that one.
Okay. However, the polarization comes from the soccer community.
Yep.
And the soccer community, I don't know if it's larger than the Missouri/college football community.
I would say no.
I would agree with that, but I would then say it's also more vocal.
Are you saying in St. Louis or in general?
Well, I mean, certainly St. Louis. I mean, my God, the soccer community is the largest of any sports community in the world.
No, I'm talking like the entire Mizzou sports community versus St. Louis City SC's sports community.
Okay, then I would say the Mizzou one. But I'm talking about in St. Louis. It just depends. And you're talking about both very passionate about their respective things, but I don't know how much overlap there is on the Venn diagram of the City fan and the Mizzou football fan.
Right.
For example, there was a game, I believe, when Missouri was playing at the same, might have been Missouri-Tennessee, actually, playing at the same time as City. Mm-hmm. And it really wasn't a big problem because City fans are going to watch City and Mizzou fans are going to watch Mizzou. And they weren't like, oh, what am I going to do? I usually like college football, but there's an MLS game. Right. That really wasn't a problem. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Whereas in 2013, a lot of Mizzou fans are like, this sucks. The Cardinals are playing a World Series game, but Missouri's playing its most important regular season game against Steve Spurrier in South Carolina, which was big competition in the SEC East that year. Mm-hmm. So that is our polarization. Because for City fans, the answer is the home opener.
Yep.
The first home game, their first game ever was in Austin, but the home opener for City. And they go, how in the world could it be anything else? Now, again, for me, my interpretation is where I arrive at the Mevis kick, because that was a moment. If you're going through the macro perspective, when you take now, then you have the ability to look back, which, of course, in a moment you don't have, because the best moment of 2005, without question, I don't even need to look it up, it was Albert Pujols' home run off of Brad Lidge. You go from about to lose to winning, taking the lead in that moment. That's your rush. But you look back on it, you go, well, the Cardinals wound up losing the series in the next game. Roy Oswalt shut them down. But in the moment, well, the Missouri win over Kansas State, doesn't look that big now. But in the moment, they were number 15 or 16 in the country, and it was kind of a defining moment for Missouri football, which was why I think they went all out game planning-wise, strategically, to kind of sit on the ball in the first two games to then go balls to the wall in the game against Kansas State. So from a macro perspective, St. Louis having a new franchise, well, that's a bigger deal than Missouri beating K-State. But in the moment, I will take Harrison Mevis's kick. That is my reasoning.
Yeah, I'm on the same page as you because and the fact it was 61 yards, it's an SEC record to do that. A kicker who you've had some worries about after what happened at Auburn in 2022.
But literally going into that game, the biggest issue coming out of the Middle Tennessee State game going in, if you remember, was, God, they barely beat Middle Tennessee State. That's a problem. Oh, crap, Mevis has the yips.
Yeah, right. And so for him to hit that, and it was a game that if you wanted hope up until the LSU game, if you wanted to go into the LSU game full bore.
And how many people were really thinking that way? Really? I mean, honestly, going into it.
Right. But, I mean, you had to win that game for the season.
Eli Drinkwitz needed that game to keep his job, which sounds crazy now as he's the SEC Coach of the Year. But that really was the mindset.
Yeah. His job wasn't solidified, really, until Kentucky, the 0-0s against Kentucky, because that first quarter was so rough. Yeah,
I suppose but once they beat K-State, I think he was in a good spot because they were likely to beat Memphis and Vanderbilt and be undefeated going against LSU. With that said, so that was the polarization. That is the polarization. And it just depends on your perspective. Was there a moment for City? The atmosphere, absurd. Even if you're not a soccer fan, or you could be a soccer fan and kind of go, well, MLS, the atmosphere there. That part doesn't surprise me. I expected it to be an incredible atmosphere. At the same time, I didn't expect it to be as great as it's been. And whether MLS, will have Gabe DeArmond on, and, he didn't even know sport, and he's from Kansas City, and he didn't even know Sporting KC beat St. Louis in a playoff game the night before.
Right.
Well, I mean, they got the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. That's where the attention's going to be.
Yeah.
But in St. Louis, it captured the hearts and minds of St. Louis sports fans. And so therefore, for St. Louis sports fans, and if you're not a Missouri football fan, you go, well, it's a much bigger deal to have a brand new franchise. It just depends on what your mindset is. Now, I pose this question. You look concerned over there. What's the problem? All right.
I was just looking at the text line, seeing what the folks had to say.
No, what are the folks saying? I see Great Ape Auto Detailing's texting in, and he automatically gets read because he's the greatest. The fact that the two biggest sports moments are Mizzou and soccer shows how awful of a year St. Louis sports have been. Vomit. It's from the Grape Ape Auto Detailing.
Well, some people like things, and some people don't like other things.
You go after the Grape Ape Auto Detailing, you're essentially going after my family.
Yeah, well, I apologize. I'll retract any statement.
Thank you
any
so
pros.
Much. What else are the people saying? I haven't been looking at it. I haven't been in there. I've been in here entertaining millions of listeners.
As expected, those who are very passionate about City can't even fathom that it would be anything other than City. I'm not seeing much of the flip side on that with Mizzou, but I'm seeing plenty of City fans being like, how could you say it's anything? And I think some of that stems from, some people don't view Mizzou as a St. Louis sports.
Which is why I continue to, but I've always
with the parameters,
done, because we've been doing it since 2010. Yeah, it's for me, but again, I view things through the lens. So, for example, just to play it out, let's say they bring the series back to St. Louis, and it goes to, it's tied late, and there is a goal with, seconds left, and that sends them to the next round against Sporting KC. That's a moment, and I bet that building would have spontaneously combusted with energy.
Yeah.
That is different. Do you see what I'm saying here?
Definitive moment, not just because you would say the opening kickoff of the home
rush.
Opener, but yeah, it's not the rush.
That's what I'm saying. But it doesn't matter, because here's the thing. Here's the other element of this. Let me talk to everybody. I want everybody to listen because it should be an honor for you to even hear my voice at this point. I should be retired by now.
Agreed. I'm turning my headphones up.
Thank you.
You bet.
Two of the most hypersensitive fan bases are soccer guy and Mizzou guy.
Yeah.
And so we are inadvertently tapping into the exposed nerve that is the series of tragic, historic events in Missouri athletics. And then soccer guy, which I haven't had a chance to psychoanalyze yet. I just know it's a thing. Yeah. And more relating to the Missouri thing, I know that's a thing. It used to be blues guy, but blues guy got himself a chalice, got the hometown boy from Oakville, not Ladue, probably better that it was Oakville. All due respect. You know what I mean. A lot of you know what I mean. And if you don't know what I mean, probably not a big fan of this show anyway. And then you get to hoist the chalice.
Yeah.
The demons were conquered.
Yep.
The demons were conquered. Mizzou guy still waiting for his Patty Maroon.
Desperately.
Yes. And then soccer guy, again, I don't know.
Soccer guy in America is always going to be chip on the shoulder.
And yet, I couldn't be, like, I'm the guy who catches hell for wanting to talk soccer, but I'm not at the same time, like, I recognize, it's like my thing with golf. I personally love golf, but I know the majority of the people don't, and I'm not feeling the need to evangelize those into the game of golf. It's like, I enjoy it. Oh, you don't? Doesn't affect my enjoyment of it. Continue to not enjoy golf. I shall enjoy it. Oh, you really like soccer? I'm not as into it as you are. Oh, you're mad at me about that. Strikes me as strange. Now I know I don't want to hang out with you.
Right.
And you've just saved me the time. Chaz Parliamentary, A Bronx Tale. He owes you $20. You don't like the guy anyway. You got him out of your life for $20. Great. That was a pretty good transaction. That's where I'm coming from. Do you follow me? Holler if you hear me. Tupac, 1991? Was it 91?
I don't know the years, Tim, but I holler and I hear you.
Thank you very much. So I don't think you're going to have a lot of Missouri fans who are going, oh, it was definitely City's opener.
Right.
And I don't think you're going to have a lot of City fans going, well, it was Mevis's kick. We get polarized. We're polarized. Now, along those same lines, when we go to our worst moment, you will see the polarization yet again.
Yep.
And then when we go to our St. Louis Sports Person of the Year, you see the polarization yet again. We will have your worst moments coming up in the next segment. Come, enjoy the winter of our discontent on the next segment of Balloon Party 101 ESPN. Munganess Burkhardt, Alton Toyota, presenting sponsor of Balloon Party on 101 ESPN and the 101 ESPN YouTube channel. The place I go to get my family's cars, the place I recommend you go to get your cars as well. New pre-owned, go ahead and look at the selection online at altontoyota.com. And then if you would like to ask a question or have a comment for the wonderful Jamie Burkhardt, Clayton Patterson, Peter Munganess at Munganess Burkhardt, Alton Toyota, all you do is this. Here's the number. They want you to text or call for that. And it's specific for our listeners. 314-252-0029. 314-252-0029. And now you got a question and you can text and you answer. Just like that. Bang. And it's secret for the listeners. It isn't like some group text that's like farmed out to somewhere else. You're talking directly to the people at Munganess Burkhardt, Alton Toyota. Online at altontoyota.com.
This is Action Jackson with a SportsCenter update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Blues are back in action tonight as they take on the Tampa Bay Lightning in Tampa. You can catch that game right here on the home of the Blues, 101 ESPN. Pregame starts at 5 p.m. and the puck drops at 6 p.m. And last night, the Hawks defeat the Pistons 130 to 124. Trae Young had 31 points, and that extends the Pistons' losing streak to 24 games. Those are their SportsCenter update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Welcome back. We got a great nomination here for the best moment of the year. And I think maybe it has corrected what we were observing in the previous segment, best St. Louis sports moment of the year. We're about to do worst St. Louis sports moment of the year. The votes have either been Harrison Mevis's kick to beat Kansas State, 61-yarder, or the opener for St. Louis City SC. But Jackson, Marsh's burner suggests this one. And perhaps this is the winner. My favorite sports moment of the year in St. Louis was actually an award-winning radio broadcast where the short, bald host working remotely lost connection and left the young boy in the studio alone to the audience, and all he could manage to say was, hello, hello.
Man, that was my deer hunter.
That was my deer hunter.
That was my deer hunter.
What a reference.
I was in a bad place that day.
Explain to those of us who didn't get a chance to study film at Horton Watkins what that was my deer hunter.
It was like the Russian roulette scene. Like I was like literally like, what? I don't know what's going to happen next.
Here's the thing. Let's say there was a day where I'm out.
Yeah.
Which is this Thursday and Friday.
Right.
You just go, okay, I'm going to do the show. And maybe Rocchio sticks around, but I'll do the show. And Rocchio runs the board, and you stand and you do it. You absolutely would. And I don't say that because I think real highly of you. I happen to think real highly of you. It's so much I don't really think much of this profession. That's really what it is.
That's fair. Yeah. No, I mean, for an hour, yeah. I just need somebody else. I couldn't do it solo. I couldn't do it all.
I just would recommend on this particular station, in this particular market, to try to place some form of an embargo on the association.
That's fine. I mean, you're missing out on passion. Like you want people to be really passionate, really invest in what they're talking about, and I can do that with most sports, but certainly hoops.
All right, now there it is. Someday.
One day.
It's going to be like Gene Hackman and Dennis Hopper and Hoosiers.
Yeah, it will be.
And that's what I'm going to do.
You're going to get kicked out on purpose.
I'm going to go,
yeah.
sorry, can't do it.
Yep.
Emergency sound story down the hall.
And it will be similar to when they played with 4 guys on the floor.
That's exactly
My team is on the floor.
And then you're going to find out you're all grown up and you're all grown up. Worst St. Louis sports moment of 2023. What is the answer?
So, I think there could be 2 answers, but my answer will be whenever I saw the news flash that they're thinking about making Wilson Contreras a corner outfielder, and I said, this season's lost.
That has gotten some votes.
This season is
the first
lost.
Or second week of May.
Because it's not that moment per se, but it's what it signaled to everybody. It's like, oh, crap. And the performance on the field was lackluster, and I saw that headline. I was like, okay, the season's gone bust. Now you could also...
That got a lot of votes.
Yeah.
That got a lot of votes. That was mentioned a good amount.
Yeah. And then...
A lot of people to say the Cardinals season as a whole. Again, I adhere to the literal of the word moment, but I think I'm in the minority. People usually will say a game or a night or an announcement as you're talking about.
Sure. And I personally picked that moment over the Berube firing.
Which has gotten the most votes for the record.
I picked that because we had...
And I don't think that's prisoner of the moment.
No.
I don't think that's prisoner of the moment.
I think it's a good answer. I pick the Cardinal situation because we had Buster Olney on this show prior to the season. He said if I had to place like the most confidence in a team winning their division, it's the Cardinals winning the NL Central. And to see what happened after that was like, oh my God, this is awful. Whereas the Blues were like you heard Doug Armstrong in the press conference we played last week.
Right.
You know, he said...
Which you're like, how did the goalposts move?
Right.
And what's going on?
Right.
Andy's a guy that, 98% of the sports fans in the area loved. And I think loved, certainly, of course, winning the Cup played a role in it, but just loved his approach. And I think his players loved him for the same reason. Right. Straightforward, no BS. My vote would be the Craig Berube firing as well. Mm-hmm. As far as surprise goes, I was super surprised. Whatever, waking up at 5 in the morning the next morning, because I already gone to bed when it had happened, and seeing my phone, and I'm just like, Holy crap.
Might have been the most shocked I've ever been when I woke up to news in sports in 2023.
It's possible. In 2023 it was,
Yeah,
for sure. As far as, so I'm going to adhere to my literal interpretation of the word moment. What was my low? The one that would apply to the game that got a lot from Missouri fans. Again, we have the polarization of the city fans and the Missouri, because a lot of city fans said the sweep against Kansas City. For me and for Missouri fans, it was probably the Georgia game.
The interception hurt.
And people go with the interception. My actual low point was, you know where I'm going?
Yeah.
Where am I going?
Connor Tollison's bad snap in the LSU game.
Oh, that's the LSU game, though.
Yeah.
That's a nice play.
Yeah.
Because that probably cost them the game. I don't think LSU's magical defense was going to stop them. The actual answer for me when I was at my lowest, and I am the only person who will vote this, but I circle it because it wasn't just about the call, and I went out of my way to not talk about it on any of the shows that I do on that Monday after, so I guess that would have been November 6th, because it just would have sounded, it would have sounded like a message board fan. But the Drayden Norwood pass interference, like 4 seconds after the play, when the flag just just arrived from the grassy knoll.
Yeah.
And Missouri's leading 13-10 in the third quarter and about to get the ball back. And I'm watching that game with my wife. Both of us went to Missouri, and I go, I don't even know why I invest myself emotionally in this crap. It's just too shady.
Yeah, right.
That's why. The call was warm garbage.
Yeah.
But then I'm just like, this is and then on top of it, it confirms psycho college fan that games are rigged and things are rigged, just like what happened with Florida State and the SEC thing. See, the SEC gets what it wants. And I'm just like, that it was disenfranchising because of the call was ridiculous, but then the time in which the flag arrived, was the flag launched from the third deck? And then I'm just like, they don't have a chance.
Yeah.
And I kind of get it, because the SEC needs to get Georgia or Alabama in there, and Missouri and to sure bet, and they got to get somebody in there. And I thought to myself, they don't have a chance. Now, if you look at things from a less cynical perspective, and I don't think you can be more cynical than me, so therefore it's everybody, you would say the Brady Cook interception that was nearly a pick six, or City getting swept. A number of other votes were Craig Berube getting fired, seeing Adam Wainwright get absolutely rocked multiple times. The Contreras thing that you made reference to got votes. Trying to think if there's something else that I'm not. Oh, Missouri losing. I'm surprised this didn't. Missouri losing to Princeton, a 15 seed.
I didn't go with my personal picks, because then my best sports moment of the year.
You're playing to the audience now, Mark?
Well, I thought you said St. Louis. It's for St. Louis, not for Sweet Jackson. Because for Sweet Jackson, it's DeAndre Golston's shot to beat Tennessee.
Okay, well, then that's what I'm asking for here.
Okay, well, that's my answer there. And then
What do you think? I'm giving the people what they want? Never done that.
Well, I didn't know what we were doing. Losing to Princeton would be the worst. And then I'll save my sports person of the year for later. I bet you can put two and two together.
Wow.
No, I actually have.
That's fine. Don't stay with it. If your answer is Dennis Gates, stay with Dennis Gates.
It's not. It's not Dennis Gates.
It's Golston?
No. As much as I would love for it to be Golston, he kind of got sticky sometimes when it came to late shot clock.
Anthony Davis for his performance in the in-season tournament?
Oh, he just proves when he's at his best, he's as dominant as
he's got no
gets.
St. Louis ties.
Well, still.
Great response.
Yeah. Sometimes I grow a unibrow.
All right. So there it is. I'm going to go into the text inbox. We'll read those. And then now, who is your 2023 St. Louis sports person of the year? There have been two names I have seen more than and again, the polarization. The polarization is strong on this one as well. I'm a little surprised, but then again, we'll see what the people here on 101 ESPN say. Maybe it'll be different. I will go into the text inbox. Text yours in 314-399-9646, or go ahead and, if you're in the YouTube chat, give your name on that one as well. It's coming up here on Balloon Party, driven by Mug and S. Burkhardt, Alton Toyota, 101 ESPN, and the 101 ESPN YouTube channel. All right, Jackson, this is the moment the people have been waiting for. Who is Jackson Burkett's 2023 St. Louis, that includes the University of Missouri and University of Illinois, sportsperson of the year?
So, as much as I would love to say the work of Dennis Gates, I would say that the St. Louis sportsperson of the year, everything included, is one Cody Schrader.
I would agree with you.
Yeah. Lutheran South
I would agree
product.
with you.
St. Louis guy. His story is unbelievable. What he did this year in the SEC was unbelievable and is one of the key stars to one of the best Missouri teams, if not the best of the 21st century. It's Cody Schrader.
Very bold, by the way. Very bold. I was saying that, and then I talked with one of the guys who was part of the 2007 team, and we went through the 2007 roster, and I go, yeah, it's probably 2007.
Defensively, they had some big dogs,
yeah,
man. They had some big dogs.
Yeah, some NFL players. But hey, this team, the offensive line, by the way, Missouri is having a big hour in recruiting here. Caden Green from Oklahoma, offensive tackle, will be replacing Javon Foster. He has committed to Missouri in the transfer portal. And what's the other one you just were saying during the commercial break?
Courtney Crutchfield will be coming. He's a Pine Bluff. He's an Arkansas guy, wide receiver, 4-star, and he'll be coming to the University of Missouri. A lot of people thought Arkansas, obviously, because of the hometown thing, but he is coming to the University of Missouri, just announced.
Boy, I'm telling you. Missouri and Ole Miss are having a big transfer portal December. Meanwhile, Georgia is having a rough transfer portal. It's amazing how the transfer portal is the great equalizer. So Jackson and I both go with Cody Schrader. It would have been nice if we could have taken opposite stances and start screaming at each other. I'd be Mad Dog. You could be Stephen A.
It'd be tough if I was saying Dennis Gates, though, because I'd be fighting an uphill battle.
Well, if that's your answer, it's your answer.
But I just don't think all included. Like, I think Dennis Gates has the possibility to win multiple of these awards. Cody Schrader, this was his year. All right. Now, the one that was getting a lot of votes from, like I said, we have this polarization. The best sports moment, Mevis's kick, or City's first home game. The worst sports moment, probably Cook's interception at Georgia, or getting swept by Kansas City. Then if you are in the former, then you're going with usually Cody Schrader, more so than anybody else. But something from Missouri football, Cody Schrader is the name that I saw on a much higher level. There were some Luther Burdens and some Eli Drinkwitzes, but either way, Missouri football, and mostly it was Cody Schrader. And then on the City side, it would be Roman Berkey, as Jackson would scold me. That's right. I don't think that's a wrong answer by any means. He was outstanding, and he led the debut season where it was awesome to see. I guess I just give more equity to college football than I do the MLS, and I know people will hate that, or some people will agree, but that's where I'm at personally. I think there's more definitive moments. I think the story with Schrader is better. So I will go with Cody Schrader, but I understand. I don't think there is wrong answers to this. Matter of fact, I actually do think there are wrong answers. I've seen plenty of them.
Oh, wow. Sudden, that's what we call an Alberta clipper of a take. It came through the area, and just like that, it was out of town. The one sentence was, I don't think there are wrong answers. And then the next sentence was, actually, I do think there are wrong answers. What happened? What were you thinking?
Well, I was thinking of like the majority. I have seen some very small amount of texts or comments with some very wrong answers.
What are some of those?
If it has anything to do with the St. Louis Battlehawks, you're just wrong. I'm sorry. Not happening.
Oh, boy.
You
just picked a fight for the holidays and you didn't want.
That's a fight I'm willing to take. It is. That is.
I'm scrolling through the text inbox, and I got to tell you, I don't see a lot of Battlehawks votes. Like,
I see like one or two, and so I shouldn't even give them anything. But yeah.
Well, who got the nod?
Someone was like AJ McKernan.
I saw him handling the coin flip for the Bengals.
Yeah, well, yeah.
In overtime this weekend.
Because he moved on. Because he was great, but, come on. Let's.
The gentleman who voted for AJ McKernan is not happy. Unreal, Jackson, unreal. And he said AJ McKernan, St. Louis Sports Person of the Year, no need to debate.
Yeah. We're not.
How dare you, Jackson? That's from the 314.
Yeah, the rest of the table's playing, Texas Hold'em, and you're playing 5-card stud. Let's be honest here.
I'm a Battlehawks season ticket holder, and I agree with Jackson. Okay. LOL.
All right. I'm not, diminishing the Battlehawks, but, let's just be honest here a little bit.
I kind of think you're diminishing the Battlehawks. A little bit.
If you're going to put them in the same conversation as Blues, Cardinals, City, and Mizzou, then yes, I will.
Well, I would tell you this. There are some Blues and Cardinals fans who are nauseated by the fact that in this conversation this year, we're not talking about, when we started this, we had an NFL franchise or an MLB or NHL team, and we're talking about a college team that many in the area don't cheer for or care about, and a soccer team.
Yeah, we had the two of the most disappointing seasons in both of those franchises' recent history. So
that's right.
Who would you who would you give for either of those?
Oof, these next few days will not be awesome for the Ladue Lily. That's her name, Ladue Lily?
Awesome. That's good. I like that.
Berkey, no one even close, especially someone from Mizzou. It's from the 314.
See, but when you say like someone's not even close, that's just pure nonsense. How could you say that? How? Fight to lose battle here. I said like Roman Berkey's a very fair answer. But to say that no one's close.
I have to tell you, it is a commentary on the St. Louis sports here that we are on.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong.
The MLS team and Missouri football. I mean, it is a commentary in a major way because the passion of this area for the Cardinals and the Blues, it's got to be top tier, especially you're talking about American NHL teams in particular, and certainly Major League Baseball fan bases. I mean, the passion here, it couldn't be better as far as for this particular discussion that you have Mizzou fan and soccer guy. And I mean,
yeah,
they're not usually going to get together to enjoy a libation.
Rarely.
They're cut from different cloths. I think cloth nurse. I
think in like colloquially. Oh, Jackson, you shouldn't even try it.
Don't do third person.
I know. I think you'd say cloths, but the correct word would be cut from different cloth.
Like deer? Hey, did you see all those deers? No. Hey, did you see all those deer?
Yeah.
I know you're out there hunting. You made reference to the deer hunter earlier.
Yeah, boy, what a film.
Cody Schrader showed up in big games. Can't say the same thing for Berkey.
I mean, we can dive into their stats. I just think that one person's importance is a little bit higher on a. But I mean,
get a new hairstyle, you Mizzou simp. That's from the 714.
I'm working on
that could be directed at either one of us. Honestly, I don't have a whole lot of choices.
I'm working on like a little bouffant over here.
Yeah, you have a pompadour.
Yeah, a little bouffant.
Yeah, you're like Bowser.
In so many ways.
Rarely do I agree with anything that Jackson has to say, but for a change, he is correct. No one on a St. Louis-based team did anything deserving to get that vote over Cody Schrader, and if Cody Schrader would have played for any different SEC team other than Mizzou, he would have won the Heisman. That's from the 314.
He wouldn't have won the Heisman, but I agree that there is some like...
He would have gotten more attention if he were in a handful of other teams. I mean, you can't go like Vanderbilt, South Carolina, Mississippi State, Arkansas, Kentucky.
No.
But if he were on Alabama, Georgia,
he might have been
Jane Daniels was in another world. That was a confusing thing for me this year, is how Jane Daniels wasn't unanimous. I guess it's because they had 3 losses, which speaks to the flaw in that award.
It's hard enough to win as a running back if you are the leading rusher in the country. And if you're not, then you probably don't have a chance.
I'm sold, boys. I'll see you at 11:15. Oh, I guess that means this person's going to join us for questions from the audience, which comes your way at youtube.com/TMASTL. It's a Tim McKernan podcast. And Jackson and I will take your questions. And they're non-sport. They can be sports. They're anything. Come on in.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I guess if you were to rank, like I would say like Cody Schrader, Roman Berkey, and then the third choice, I think you can make a real case for Dennis Gates.
God, you're so political.
Well, yeah, I think you can make a legitimate case for Dennis Gates as a third in that spot. Or even second.
See, this is kind of like Florida State being number 5. Florida State's either number 3 or they're number 8. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like if you think it's Cody Schrader, then I think you're being political if you're saying Berkey's 2. If you think it's Cody Schrader, then I feel like you got to have Drinkwitz at 2 and like Bird. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, I
think you're using your hand on the audience.
Yeah, no doubt.
Okay. But this is honesty in media.
Yeah. It is. Well, I've been dishonest. It's DeAndre Golston.
Berkey won the damn goalkeeper of the year, you Mizzou fanboys.
No doubt. But Cody Schrader led the best college football conference in rushing as a D2 walk-on.
Let me ask you this question.
Cool.
What is more popular in the United States of America, MLS or college football?
College football.
You didn't hesitate, I noticed.
So that's not even a question.
Is that because you went to Missouri?
Because it's objective, and it's like, is 1 + 1 2? Yes.
Not necessarily.
I know that. Do you need me to show my work?
I wouldn't mind it. We'll do that on QFTA. Most of the Mizzou roster wouldn't even make the Battlehawks.
Okay. It's a nice non sequitur. Doubt it. Some of them will be drafted in the first, second round, but I guess the NFL isn't as good as the XFL. Is that the take?
I just read what's in the teleprompter. That's all I can do. Unfortunately, we are out of our time.
Yeah.
So this gave me an idea. I wonder how this is going to play on TMA tomorrow.
I think you're going to get a similar split.
Think so?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I don't think it'll be as
polarizing.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
But that's why I wanted to have the first blush at this on Balloon Party.
Yeah.
Because I noticed it like in my mind, it's like, well, it's Mevis's kick.
Right.
But I recognized I'm biased. You know, my love for City is it's a younger, different fan base that feels comfortable being loud at a sporting event without old people yelling at them to sit down. That's what I celebrate.
Yeah.
Missouri, for me, is emotional, and I've been a fan before I even went to school there. But I recognize in St. Louis, God, maybe 50%, maybe 60% this year are Mizzou fans.
Yeah.
So I recognize that from having done this for so long.
Yeah.
So it's a different thing. So it comes down to what you are actually a fan of. And then there are plenty of people who aren't a fan of either who are going, well, it's got to be like Adam Wainwright, you know, just by default. And then it's got to be Ruby getting fired. And then the worst sports moment has to be, you know, a specific play from July that I don't even remember with the Cardinals. I don't know.
Right.
Anyway, it's 11 o'clock. We got to go. BK and Ferrari are up next. We'll be live on YouTube, on youtube.com/TMASTL in about 15 minutes. This has been